Before I got pregnant, I hated my body. Today on Channel Mum, we are talking about body confidence and the pressure that is put on women to look a certain way and feel a certain way before, during and after pregnancy. And just from reading some of the other girls' takes on it and watching their videos, I have realised that my experience is quite different. Mine is a bit backwards. A lot of the girls talk about feeling really confident before they had discovered that they were pregnant, and they liked their bodies and they felt confident in their size and their shape and the way everything sort of sat, and that pregnancy meant that those things changed and that they had to kind of appreciate their new body, and that's where the change came in. For me, it was actually the opposite. Before I got pregnant, I hated my body. I really did not like one thing about myself. I was about 5 stone overweight. I didn't like my face, I hated my stomach. It was the biggest part of my whole body. I didn't like my legs, I didn't like my eyes, I didn't like my teeth, I didn't like my boobs, I didn't like my bum. I hated the way I looked, and I think I had accepted the fact that I was going to be overweight for my whole life. That was just normal to me. I just didn't like looking in the mirror, didn't like people taking pictures of me, and social occasions and events would just send me into a spiral of worry because I would have to find something that fit me, something that would stretch onto me, and something that I could comfortably or uncomfortably wear for a long period of time. My body confidence was at an all-time low before I got pregnant. The day that I found out that I was pregnant, I weighed myself. What does that tell you? First feeling on finding out I was pregnant was obviously joy. I was so happy to be pregnant, but it was very, very quickly followed by absolute fear. Fear that I was going fear that I was going to die almost, because I knew I was already like 5 stone overweight. I knew that I was already at my very biggest, and pregnancy was inevitably going to mean I was going to gain weight and I was going to be carrying a person in my stomach. Like when I looked down at my stomach and I just saw 3 or 4 massive rolls of fat, I would sit down, it would spill over my legs. I was uncomfortable, it was actually sore. I had really bad stretch marks all along the top of my stomach. The stretch marks were so bad that they would bleed sometimes. The thought of a baby having to grow safely and comfortably in that environment terrified me. In the very beginning of my pregnancy, I was terrified of gaining weight, and I knew that I couldn't let myself just relax as much as some of the other girls were. Not even a vanity thing, it was a health thing. It was just being terrified that I was going to smother my own baby or something. It was horrible. In the beginning, my weight was a concern in my pregnancy. I was given gestational diabetes checkups because of my BMI more so than anything else. It wasn't because there was a history of diabetes in my family. It was because of my weight. From that point on, I just tried not to put on too much weight. In the end, I think I put on like 15 pounds in my pregnancy, which is nothing. Most people would put on about triple that. I actually really enjoyed being pregnant. Though I was very overweight already, pregnancy seemed to do something for my confidence. It made me suddenly appreciate my body more. It was like I was more mindful of the vessel that I was carrying, and that it was able to get pregnant and it was able to house and protect and mind my little baby. So during pregnancy, I began to love my body rather than began to feel negative about my body. As my belly grew and expanded, in some weird way my stretch marks kind of flattened out, and instead of having 3 massive rolls of fat in my belly, I had this one round bump. Not at the beginning, it probably was 5 or 6 months in that I actually had a proper bump, because there was a lot of surface area that had to stretch. All the kicks I felt, and just because I was being a little bit mindful about my eating and my food, I actually felt quite good in myself. Then I had Billy and gave birth, and I had a fairly traumatic birth. But again, I felt so proud of the fact that my body had actually safely delivered a baby into this world. And then came breastfeeding. Breastfeeding was my way of connecting with my body, was my way of loving my body. The fact that my body was able to sustain my baby, give my baby everything that it needed, and keep my baby healthy and alive, just absolutely amazed me. I felt for once I didn't have to hate my body anymore. I actually loved my body for being able to do that for my beautiful little baby. So I had gotten pregnant, conceived, given birth, and now I was able to feed my baby from my body, because it was able to do something amazing that not everybody gets to experience. Billy's 2 now. In the last year I have lost 4 stone. I've lost 3.5 stone on Slimming World, and about 1/2 stone just before that, just eating healthily. And for the first time in my life, I feel confident about the body that I own. I've loved myself at every single part of this weight loss journey. I still have like a stone and a half I want to lose before I get to my goal weight, but I now finally am at a point where I am so grateful to have this body that was able to produce a child and that can care for a child, and so I feel more confident about my body than I ever have. Pregnancy did that for me, and becoming a mother did that for me, and I'm so grateful. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe to this video if you enjoyed it, and head over to Channel Mum to watch the rest of the videos about body confidence. I just think these videos are so interesting and everybody feels differently about the subject. And as always, thanks for watching and supporting me and my channel. See you next time.